All right, cool. This is Knives Monroe, and I'm here with Oscar Garcia. You cool with me saying
Yeah, that's fine.
your whole name's there?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Oscar and I, we go back. You know, we used to work together. We're old co-workers. We used to work at a website called Valley Native. And off mic, I guess we were getting fired up about it. We're like two old like lesbian bitches that are always going to go back and be like talking about that ex.
Yeah,
I
pretty
guess.
much.
I mean, it's okay to be bitter.
Yes.
But you said, I'll save it for on mic.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
This doesn't define you, but what was that? I guess we'll start with that.
No, I mean, it was just basically, saying, like you said, like it's okay to be bitter because things ended bitterly, but, you're just like, there's no point in talking about it. I mean, in reality, yeah, I said, we'll just save it for later, but there's really not much there besides just, this should have happened or, this should not have happened. I don't even know if we should get like too into detail.
I don't care. I don't think anybody cares.
That's true.
The truth is, all you can really talk about is what you went through, and how. And honestly, I've been. You can't go through business without getting scars, and
That's true.
depending on who you talk to, scars are attractive. So you use that and you take it to the next thing. And I know I certainly have. Day one, before I was even employed there, it was just my dream.
Yeah.
To be quite honest.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I wanted it to work, and I fought for it. But I'm not a stupid idiot, as my mom would say. She used to wake me up and call me a stupid idiot. I had it coming, but I'm not a stupid idiot. And as soon as I saw a red flag that didn't meet up to my standard, I was like, I'm out this thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a bad thing to say.
No.
That's the way it is. For
Pretty
some
much,
people,
yeah.
it's like, I can't bring my dog here, forget it. And then they leave and that's it. And that's valid. If that's your timeline and that's your ethos, like, good, that's you.
Mm-hmm.
Good on you. For me, I wanted that website to go the distance. It has so much potential. It still does. Anybody could do it and still do it. I'll give you guys a shout out. There's a great website on Facebook, primarily called Neta, which they do Facebook Lives, and they actually, I'm not very big on we're both RGV guys, right?
Yeah, right.
And I'm not very big on Hispanic, like Chicano culture, man.
Oh, man.
I'm not that guy.
Me either.
Yeah. Although I was an outlier, so I was never going to be that guy. Spanish wasn't my first language. That was never going to... I don't know about you, but in the Valley, the movie that was the Holy Grail, like the Bible for everybody in the Valley, at least in my hood, was Blood In, Blood Out.
I have honestly never seen that movie. I've probably heard the name a couple times.
Okay, so it's like very like, Orale way, chingon way.
God.
It's like that crap, right?
Yeah.
And there's a character who is light-skinned, and they're like, you're not one of us. And he's like, I'm one of you, way, because we got the same blood, way. It's like one of those things.
Oh, God.
And I remember growing up and everybody was like, you don't like that movie? And I'm like, I understand where that character is coming from, being an outlier. That was it.
Honestly, I have never in my life subscribed to that sort of, I don't want to say culture, but, being super proud of who you are and where you come from. Yeah. Not really all about that. I don't know. I just, honestly, if I'm being truthful, I just never felt super connected with who I am. And if we want to talk about, oh, bro, you're from the RGV, bro, you're Mexican. Yes, I am indeed.
Right.
But
by default.
By default, exactly, by default. And it's not like I'm embarrassed or I don't want to acknowledge it. It's just I hate the idea of defining yourself based off of predispositions, I guess. Man, I don't know. And it's funny because my cousins and my friends and all that call me a coconut.
Gotcha.
So I'm brown on the outside and I'm white on the inside.
Right.
I don't agree with that.
You know what the white is in that statement?
What is it?
You're educated.
That is true.
That's what it means. That's what they probably don't mean it like that, but I think that's what they mean.
Yeah.
Have you ever used big words with your homeboys and they're
God.
like, this guy?
Funny story, in high school, actually, I used to hang out with people who were actually not in hindsight, not the best people that I should have been hanging out with. They were, as the community would call, cagapalos. They just like to they just like to start shit, just be unruly and do a bunch of stuff. And honestly, there would be times where I would say things like, I can't even think of it. Something with a word that's just not. I wouldn't even say it's a big word. It's really not. Like if I said the word opportunity. They'd be like, this guy trying
Como
to
que
be,
opportunity, la
it's
verga, güey.
It's I don't know where it comes from, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, I've always tried to carry myself a little bit. I mean, it's funny because you say like, oh, you're trying to talk smart with big words. It's like, not really. I'm not at all. It's just that when I was younger, I read a shitload of books.
Me too.
If we want to have some bragging points,
Right.
AR points too.
Oh, yeah.
I was on top of the
Me
fucking
too.
map
I had, if we can brag just for a moment.
for a moment.
In third grade, it may have been third, fourth, or fifth, one of those, but AR points, and I remember the principal or whomever, it was like a conspiracy. They brought my mom in, and they're like, what is he, like, how does he, obviously, he's cheating somehow, and my mom's like, nope, he's just a fucking loser. I had a huge briefcase of books. I was reading, like, above my grade level.
Yeah.
Like, Dr. Dolittle was a movie, I was like, I'm going to read the book. And they're like, that's 8th grade level. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's words. What do you mean? But same here, And so I was a smart ass, I was a, who the fuck did I think I was guy as well. So
Yeah, and I don't think I'll ever get over the fact that in my school, I ended number 2. The only girl that beat me, only person that beat me in my grade was a girl named Elaine or Deborah. She now goes to Princeton.
Wow.
Very proud of her.
For sure.
But
So you're number 2.
I was so upset.
I think I knew that. Did you told me that?
Did
Salutatorian?
I don't know. No. I don't mean like. So, I'm talking about like elementary school.
Oh, gotcha.
AR
points.
AR points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And for people that don't know what AR points, it's just you
Right.
read a book, you take a test, and depending on how good you do.
Well, didn't it stand for academic recognition? No.
I have no
I
idea.
don't know
Accelerated
about that.
reader.
That's what it was.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, talk about being salty for years. I'm still upset about that.
Yeah.
I should have been number 1.
Yeah.
It's not enough that I should succeed.
Right.
Others should fail.
Wow. That's deep, man.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why I kind of connected with you, I'm not embarrassed to talk about the website, Valley Native. It's still out there,
It's live.
we're
Not
not-
using my code.
Okay.
Using some sort of third party, build it yourself kind of situation.
Sure.
But
Maybe like a WordPress thing?
yeah, well, if I had to guess, I'd probably say something like Wix or like Squarespace.
Squarespace, right.
Just one of those.
This podcast is sponsored by Squarespace. Nah, I wish.
Dude, I
I
know.
wish. But no, I'm not. I don't feel bad about it. I don't care. I want things to succeed. Everybody wins. Things get better. We get better.
Yeah.
People are gonna Google you no matter what, and I want people to Google me and see dope shit. That's it. I wanted that to be the best thing ever.
I mean, lucky for you, you got KNIVESMONROE. In terms of SEO searchability,
Okay.
KNIVESMONROE is pretty far up there.
You think so?
Yeah, it's pretty unique. Then you have
Maybe.
Oscar Garcia.
Okay. Sure. Have you ever had an alias, like a Neo?
Oh no, it's crazy because I have never in my life had a nickname. Never in my life said, "Hey guys, call me this." It's funny because in Valley Native we had all these interesting names that weren't even like names.
Like what?
And then there's like Genesis.
Oh yeah, but that was her name.
That was her name, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you, Knives,
Sure.
and then Gold. No, I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
But and then there's me, Oscar.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. But
no, not
but
whatsoever.
it's a very common name. I'll admit that.
It is.
In my life, I've
it's
known,
common where we come from.
Yes, exactly. If we were to go to Long Beach, California, or
Right.
Maine,
Right.
maybe not so much, but
Right. In Silicon Valley, how many
wait,
Oscar Garcias are there?
is Long Beach in California?
It is.
Okay,
Is
cool.
it? No.
Is it?
I think it's in New York.
Okay, I don't know about that.
I think it is.
This episode is brought by Squarespace.
I think it is. I just heard a podcast actually today, and somebody was talking about Long Beach,
Anyway, what were you asking?
maybe Florida. Who
What did you
fucking
say?
knows?
Yeah.
We're from the Valley.
We are, yeah. We are, indeed.
Oh man, and also, not just from the Valley. You're from
from Los Fresnos, Texas.
Los Fresnos.
In between Brownsville and Harlingen. I lived there for a long ass time, and then we moved literally just a few miles away.
Did you go to elementary, middle school, and high school there?
Yep, sure did.
Where'd you graduate college?
Well, if we're going to bring up bragging again,
Yeah.
I went to elementary, middle school, and half of high school in Los Fresnos. But I applied for this like early college high school, and I got accepted. So basically, I went to college starting my junior year of high school, and I graduated,
Good for you.
quote unquote high school
Yeah.
with a associate's degree. I don't know if you knew that about me. Did you know that about me?
No.
I don't think I ever told
I didn't
people.
know that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me.
Thanks.
That's like a Idea. I think Idea Academy does that. That's
yeah,
like a
well,
prerequisite.
idea. I think they kind of like prep you for it, but like it was called MSA, Math and Science Academy. It was literally
Yeah.
college.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny because people always tell me, college isn't for me. It's for you. You did all this stuff.
Right.
But I always have to remind people.
Yeah.
Technically, it took me like 6 years to graduate. I got my associate's degree out of high school, and I didn't finish college with my bachelor's degree until 4 years. So, I don't know. I can rant about college and all that stuff. Honestly, I think anybody can do it. You just have to really apply yourself, and that's what a lot of people aren't ready for. It's just like giving up a lot of these personal freedoms and just really bunkering down and realizing that.
I'll tell you the darkest thing, and I can't believe I'm publishing this.
Do it.
It's the darkest thing. So I wanted to be a filmmaker at 16, 17, 18. I had this girlfriend who was like, yeah, no. Like, that's never going to pay bills. Like, it wasn't as prevalent as, Facebook culture today, where you can actually make stuff and go viral or whatever.
Right.
That was not even a part of the vocabulary or ecosystem at the time. But so I was like, I'll be a nurse. I'll be a teacher, right? Default bullshit. And I went to STC, South Texas College, which was a community college, for maybe 4 semesters. Never went to class. I'm just about to finish paying off my student loans.
Really?
I need very little. Like, I'm going to pay it off by this time next year. It'll be gone.
Okay.
And I'll have no debt. That is fucking cool.
That is cool.
To kill your debt by 30 in America is kind of almost impossible.
That's true.
My mom was like 40 when she, no, actually, well, that's neither here nor there. But it took her like 20 years to pay off student loans. And I would go, and here was my college experience. I would go to college, I'd go in the classroom, sit down, and then the professor would do their thing, and I was like, I can't do this. And I'd go in my car, and I'd listen to podcasts in my car until like 3 p.m., and I was like, I'm going home. I would wait the clock every fucking day.
Why would you do that? You just didn't want to be there?
I have
Was there like some sort of
a
thing on
that I've shedded a lot of, but it's not perfect. Like, I have a self-sabotaging nature thing.
Yeah, like a personality like that.
A little bit. A little bit. I'm much better. Being a father has cut that quant in half. But truth be told, and this is what I want to talk about, just, Yeah. I don't think college is for everybody. I do think if you bust your ass and show up, you can finish it.
That's true, yes.
Yes, and you should be committed to do so. But I would wait the clock. And then that was like half of 06, all of 07, half of 08. 08, I rented a movie. It was called There Will Be Blood by Paul Thomas Anderson, which I've seen over 100 times.
It's an amazing movie.
It's an amazing movie,
Yeah.
and I put it on, and I was like, I have class like at 12. I'll catch like the first hour, and then I'll finish this when I come back. And then as soon as it was going, I was like, I'm not going back to school ever again. Ever again.
Really?
And I saw it 3 times that day. It's a 3-hour movie. I saw it 3 times that day. And I had, like I said, my girlfriend who was like, go to college, motherfucker. Like, she was a love doesn't pay the bills type of person, and that's cool. She's not wrong for that. Realistic. And she was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm in class. And she was like, oh, really? Because you're at your house, and I'm parked outside. And I was like, fuck! And that was the beginning of the end of that relationship.
Okay.
But it wasn't for me. And I wish I
Yeah.
had more people be like, Knives, what do you really want? I want to be a filmmaker. Why? Because it makes me feel X, Y, and Z. Great. So what do you need to do that?
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. Great. So go all in and do that. Do that forever. Work your fucking face off and do that. But instead, literally my Donna High School counselors they were like, there are no film schools. That's what I was told, which is a lie. But they were like, there are no film schools. And I remember being like, this is wrong. That can't be true. I know that's not true. Like, what about, Florida or Austin? They have these art programs, and they were like, yeah, but those, it's really hard to make it, is what I was
I hate
told.
that shit.
Oh, dude, I mean, and I will throw those motherfucking counselors under the bus
Yeah.
because
That's not even their job. Their job's supposed to be like,
I have no idea
bro, you can do it.
what their job. Yeah, you're right. But that's what I was told. And today, because of the culture, if you were to tell somebody I want to do this, I think now they're going to be like, well, you better fucking start right now.
Yeah.
It's different. So I would tell that person, that's like, college isn't for me, like, oh, easy for you to say. I would say, what do you want to do? That requires college, motherfucker.
There's a lot of people
Yeah.
that say, and this is so prevalent, especially amongst people who have just started college, who have just got out of high school, where you're just dicking around for the whole day, and all of a sudden it's like, bitch, what do you want to do for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
What do you think their answer is? It's like, I have no fucking idea.
Yep.
So you made a good point. You're like, college is not for everyone.
Yeah.
I actually agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. First of all, not everyone knows exactly what they want to do. And if they do
Right.
want to do something, then, by God, if you don't have to go to college, go do it.
Mm-hmm.
I am, however, on the realist side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I try to play things by fucking numbers, by
Mhm.
percentages.
Yeah.
And I tell
That's brilliant.
myself,
Yeah.
but if somebody asks, I would tell them too.
Yeah.
I say, yeah, sure. And if somebody ever tries to say, but Bill Gates said, I'm going to punch him in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Because first of all, Bill Gates was at a really good college, and then he dropped out.
Mm-hmm.
So he was already a genius. But
Zucks as well.
Exactly. But what I do say is that, okay, sure, you don't have to go to college, but some people are in positions in their lives where they can actually go without worrying too much about expenses. I was lucky enough and fortunate enough that my parents were really helpful. They were there for me. If you're given the opportunity, you're a motherfucker if you don't take it.
First of all, what do you mean by opportunity? This guy, opportunity, like throwing out these big words like
More
that.
in the land
Like,
of the
come
free,
on.
baby.
I'm just kidding, but no, for sure, man. But I think you said something that puts a lot of people at a disadvantage. Your parents.
Yeah, that's where I was
don't
getting.
have that. People don't have
Some
that.
people don't have
Yeah.
that.
And it's not an excuse. It's
Uh-huh.
not an excuse. That's also
Yeah,
reality.
Exactly, that's
Yeah.
reality. So, the biggest thing, of course, is play your cards.
Yeah.
You're given a hand, play it. Everyone wants to bitch about everything, and sure, that's valid. There's valid if you can't go to college. That's totally fine. But one of the things that I learned to be very humble about was I used to be a tutor when I was in college, towards my last couple of years, and it's insane how many people that go to tutoring are older, that have kids and full-time jobs.
Very true.
It's insane how much more they bust their ass than people that don't really have jobs, that just go to college and just hang out with friends and all that.
Very true.
It put me at this mindset that holy shit, if you want something, it just matters how much effort you put into it.
100%.
Because there's people, oh my god, you have kids.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's hard to have kids. I don't have any. I don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people that have kids, that have their full-time jobs, still go to college, and they still bust out 4.0s.
You're right.
And it's just like, golly. But they go back later whenever they're more inclined to financially, or maybe they're more mature, because I do think maturity comes into play whenever it comes into, pursuing a higher education.
How many birthdays have you had?
I have had 23 birthdays.
Okay, 23. So do you have enough perspective to look back at 18 and realize how much of a child you were?
I think about it every once in a while, and I was like, wow, I didn't know shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know
It's
anything.
but and it's not a terrible thing because you can pull that card, like look at the Chinese or whatever, but
It's just their culture is different.
of course,
Yeah.
but as far as our brain development or whatever, it's hard to have your shit together to have the ultimate question figured out at that age. And it's the ultimate thing that I not take for granted. I kind of do take for granted. I knew what I wanted at 16.
Yeah.
So fucking lucky. I know people 40, they don't know. 50, they don't know. They don't even know how to figure it out. And I don't know if it's because not everybody has that or what.
Yeah.
But I don't mean to romanticize it, but what is it for you and how did you know?
What I wanted to do?
Sure.
Oh man, it all came by chance. I lucked out.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I lucked out. I went to school. First of all, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Since I was in 8th grade, I was like, I want to be a pharmacist. Did I know why I wanted to be a pharmacist? Honestly, it was because my family knew a pharmacist, and all they did was like watch soccer all day, and they just dicked around, and the guy made a ton of money, and I was like, that's what I want to do. Super ignorant answer, really greedy answer, not about who I was. And so I go to college, and I'm pursuing chemistry, and then I get my associate's degree, and I'm thinking, okay, to pursue pharmacy, I need to go to another college because they don't have it here in the Valley, which was a lie. I gave up like shit. Like I actually forgot about this, but I gave up like a full ride to UTB to pursue pharmacy in Houston.
Oh wow. Do you regret that?
My parents tell me that everything happens for a reason.
Okay. Do you believe that?
In a way. I went to...
I don't know what people mean by that, because when people say everything happens for a reason, what they mean is everything happens for a good reason, and something good's going to happen. Yeah. That's what they mean.
This is basically what happened. Okay. During the summer, they had their orientation. I get there, and the advisors literally looked at my transcript, and they saw that I had 1 million college classes, but I had absolutely no pharmacy classes. And the advisors, the people that are supposed to be like, you can do it, told me, look, you're not going to make it. Your GPA is not high enough, and you already started college. You need to change your major. And so it's insane. I looked at a pamphlet of majors in the University of Houston, and I was like, I play video games every once in a while. League of Legends, Minecraft. I'll do computer science. I didn't even know that you do coding in computer science. But I stuck with it, and I fucking hated it.
Really?
I hated it whenever I started. Everyone already knew a bunch of shit. They had taken it in high school and all that.
Right.
And I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
And so, my parents say that everything happens for a reason because I ended up loving it. Same thing with Valley Native. It was bad, but if it didn't happen, then we
wouldn't both be in Austin, Texas.
I wouldn't know you. We wouldn't be having this conversation in the most random fucking place in Austin, Texas.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just everything is kind of just crazy, and you just have to go with it. You just have to ride with it.
Right.
I lucked out because I love what I do.
You do.
It's very possible that I could have been like, man.
When I met you, you gave me the vibe, or maybe I picked up the vibe that you're like, I'm a coder, motherfucker. I'm a motherfucking coder.
That's how I feel now.
You had all this, you had all this code swag. You had like your laptop that looked like you've had it since like pre The Matrix, like 1998. Like it had like code life, and like all this swag all over it. And I was like, this guy's a motherfucking coder. But you kind of fell into it.
I fell into it.
That is awesome though.
For sure.
Because that is a happy ending.
It is happy.
A lot of people don't get that.
Yeah. A lot of it comes down to, do you have mentors in your life? Do you have people that can guide you in the right direction? Or do you have people that are just like, honestly, I'm just happy if you do something with your life? That
was my mother.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
She was like, son, as long as you can... and she would tell me this ever since I was like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, before like kids were ever even in the... Like I was never going to have kids,
Yeah.
I never thought I would ever even have a blowjob.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, no one's going to suck my dick ever. I thought that. I thought I was going to die a virgin. But she'd be like, son, as long as one day you could support your family, that's all that matters. That was a fucking low bar. Looking back, like that's as low as the bar could get.
Oh, shit.
But so I superseded her whole expectations for me, and I want more, But yeah, she was never like, I want you to be a football player, son, or be a doctor, like ever. Even with my brother, it's just two of us. She's just like, as long as you can support yourself and make your own house and support your own kids, like that's it.
Okay.
And I don't think it's a bad thing. I kind of feel the same way about my children. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you guys do. Go to college, don't go to college, as long as you can support your own ass, because I can die tomorrow and I'm not going to be there. Are you going to be able to be strong enough to live in this jungle by yourself, or are you going to die? That's it, Maybe that's a really low bar, but I can't project, you better be fucking great. I don't know. If they're great, I'm going to support that, encourage that. If they just want to get by, then they need to have the skills and the know-how to do so. But, not having a dad and not having a bigger brother and not having, those kind of influences, I had to find those mentors.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
I have studied from like cover to cover anything that those mentors ever put out, even before the huge high-speed internet boom where everything was available. Reading books, whatever. Going to the school and like printing things out and taking it home, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I had to absorb that, and I credit that to everything that I have is those mentors that put the blueprint out there, printed, that published those books that are like, here's the answers. That's why this podcast is called Here's Everything, because everything that I've ever learned, got, acquired, consumed, absorbed, I just want to put pay it forward. You know what I mean? But who were those people for you?
Oh man, my parents, no doubt.
100%?
No doubt, 100%. It's funny because my parents never told me, like, well, obviously they really, really pushed college. They never said, you don't have to go to college. They always said, go to college, do that. But they never told me, like, motherfucker, you better graduate. You better get $1 million. You better be, you better study your ass off. They never, ever.
Do you have siblings?
I do have one brother.
Younger?
Older.
Oh, you told me about this.
Yeah, he's in the Navy.
Yeah.
My parents, I always think about how they raised me, and I'm like, damn, they did it pretty well. Because
That's awesome.
They never...
Do they know that you know that?
Yeah, I always...
That's good, man.
I'm
That's
super
good.
appreciative of them.
That's very huge.
I love them insanely. I'm very blessed in that way. But they never told me, you'd better do this, or you'd better, whatever. It was always just, let's support Oscar in every way possible, and, like, let him know that we want him to, like, go far. And that was enough for me to say, okay, I need to really, really get my shit together. Oh, I never had my shit not together, but it was that sort of mentality of, you see an opportunity, you take it. If you're doing bad in something, why are you doing bad in it? Is it because you just don't want to do it? Is it because you're just kind of lazy and you're just like not really feeling it? Or, is it because you're not open to that path? Because there have been a ton of times in my life where I changed paths. And my parents never tell me, oh my God, why are you changing your mind? Why aren't you staying with it? They always said, okay, you're going in this direction. How can we help you go in that direction?
Yeah, that's great.
And just insanely awesome to be able to pivot like that.
Yeah.
And know that you're still going to go 100%. And, you're going in a different direction, but you're going full steam ahead,
That's a miracle.
It's
a fucking miracle.
It's really
Were they
awesome.
educated themselves?
My dad has some college. My mom has an associate's degree.
Yes.
So yeah, they my dad always knew he wanted to be a trooper, and my dad's childhood.
All the males in my family, which there's a lot, all the males in my family never graduated high school.
Really?
Yeah.
See, a lot of people in my dad's family never graduated high school.
There you go.
But
he did. He went to college a little bit.
He always knew he wanted to be a trooper because my dad grew up very poor in Mexico, and he used to, they used to travel to the U.S.
So
and
he's
work in
first
fields.
generation American, or
Yes.
you?
No. Well, he emigrated.
Okay.
Immigrated over here. So I'm the
so
first
you're
one.
first generation.
Yeah,
That's huge, man.
I'm born here. I think one of his sisters was born in the United States,
I
but
see.
there's like 13 of them, 13 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very traditional.
Why did our Mexican family have so many? They couldn't afford them.
I don't know.
That's bizarre. My grandma had 8 kids from my mom's side. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, which I always assumed was a lot, but everybody's like 9, 12. And now you said 13?
Yeah,
That is, no one woman should have to go through all that, but
I agree.
That's wild, man.
A question for the scholars. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I always do, and they're very, they're very humble too. They always taught me, like, see things from people's perspectives.
Empathy.
Have empathy for them. Don't feel obligated to put yourself down. Just really, really understand where they're coming from. And so I always try to do that. And there are times when I'll rant about stupid shit, but for the most part, I try my best. I really acknowledge that, sure, I can't really see eye to eye on a lot of things with a lot of people, but I can do my best to just, tone it down, realize where some people are coming from.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge believer.
You do have that.
I'm a huge believer in culture.
Mm-hmm.
That if you grow up a certain way, you grow up believing a certain thing,
Yeah.
and I can't change your mind. All I can do is just try to work with you.
Yeah.
And so, this is kind of digressing, but what I'm trying to say is, I am very, I acknowledge that I'm very lucky with how everything worked out, and my way of acknowledging that is doing my best to push it forward, and taking the most out of it.
Right.
You know,
Maximizing it.
maximizing it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. That's the most important thing you can do. Otherwise, I think you're dishonoring them somehow.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we talk on the phone every once in a while. It's not like every day, but it's like every couple of days we'll talk on the phone. Since I'm in Austin now, and you know, at the end of every phone call, they're like, "We are so happy with what you're doing. We're so happy with blah blah
Isn't
blah."
that great?
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
so I could only hope that I can, you know, carry that forward. You know.
You do.
Yeah.
You had a lot of integrity in Valley Native. I'm not trying to bring it back there, but that's our history.
That is our history.
It's just what it is. That's the Old Testament, man. And I remember, like I said, you were the one where I was like, oh, shit, these stakes are high. Like, anytime you led a meeting, I was like, fuck. Like if I need to get on Oscar's level, which I thrive on that. I'm usually the alpha male leader, quarterback guy. You know, I throw the pass, I catch the ball. I'm usually the one-man army. But when we got there and I was like, okay, this person's that, I might have to carry this person. But with you, you're like, motherfucker, so I've been nice. Like, you started that way. Like, I tried to do this shit nice. But I obviously have to be more fucking aggressive because you guys aren't, this isn't quality. And I was just like, fuck, like, I needed to hear this. So I got integrity out of you. Like, 51% of my first impression was integrity. And I cared that you cared, and it made me care even more.
You know, I appreciate that.
Truth.
It's funny because I think about it, and that comes from my dad. He's a perfectionist, man.
Oh, that's
Big
awesome.
time.
That's
Big
awesome.
time. He always says, yeah, this is good, but why isn't it better? And I'm sure you can
Dude,
see
you
that.
said that. I think that's a verbatim quote that you said.
It's funny because I never really think about it, but yeah, I mean, it comes directly from him.
Honestly, if that isn't your primary question, if it is, you're going to maximize life. That is a beautiful primary question to have when it comes to any and everything. This is fantastic. This is great. This is outstanding. Why can't it be better?
Exactly.
How can I make this better?
And people confuse it with greed. It's not greed. I don't, like I said, it's not enough that I should succeed, others should fail. Like, it's not that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, be the best that you can be in everything, in anything you do.
100%.
I try.
Yeah.
I try.
I was not taught that. I
What
was
were you
taught, and I'm not like a boo-hoo man. Like, I'm
No,
not.
I know,
I'm
of
not.
course not.
I often do spend too much time looking back, but that won't be forever. I think that's my 20s. I think in my 30s is going to be much more forward. But looking back, my family, I was raised by women, like 2 aunts, my mother, and my grandma. And so I never had like a masculine presence that was like, look, fucker, it's like, this is all you have to do. Like that kind of like, nah.
Yeah.
I never had that. The women were just like, God damn it. Like kind of just always like picking at me sort of thing. Nagging, if you will. And which is fine. But all they wanted from me, I think they saw something great in me. And were like, why aren't you fucking great yet? And I was just like, and I couldn't articulate this as 12 years old, but I remember feeling like, because this system is rigged against my greatness. It's rigged. I can't be great and be the fucking thing that I want to be because you want me to get all A's at this fucking Spanish test that means jack shit to me?
Yeah.
No, I don't know how. Instead, I was writing and filming stuff and all that stuff. There's people that still have VHS copies of shit that I've done out there from my high school that are like, one day you're going to make it and I'm going to fucking sell this shit on eBay. And I'm like, that's the ultimate honor. That's like the biggest honor. But that was me. That was my reputation. And I still have it. I asked somebody, there was like I'm past my 10-year high school graduation. I'm past it.
Okay.
And there was a Facebook group page of like, let's all get together, like all the class of 06, y'all. And I always go back to it, and I posted, I was like, guys, because I never bought a yearbook. Instead, I signed everybody's yearbook. Like, I'll see you at HEB. Like, I'm going to bump into you guys again. Like, you know. But I asked somebody, hey, I remember looking through the yearbook, and there was a picture of me being like, I'm going to be a fucking filmmaker that's going to change the world and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, can somebody send me that picture? And they did. And I looked back at that quote and I said, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That. In a time where it was inconceivable. And now we live in a time where you can maximize your fucking privilege. You know, that's the way I choose to see it. And if you had a dad, a literal biological father that put that on you, man, I think that's like the ultimate treasure. I really do. I really do. And I think that's why you're pretty fucking balanced and great. I'm sure maybe there's like a dark side about you, and I don't need to pick at it or anything,
No.
but the good outweighs it. For me, you asked me like, why do I have to wake up at 3:30 in the morning, and everything, and I told you,
That's pretty crazy.
and I told you it was because you master the morning, you master the day, because 51% of me is dark, and I have
Okay.
to beat it.
Okay.
I
yeah.
have to. Otherwise, it's like, I don't want to wake up as Venom every day. I don't want to. Like, I have to suffocate it
Yeah, of
every day.
course.
Suffocate negativity every day. Because it's so easy, like, and today, like, every day's 9/11,
Yeah.
Every
I
day's
get
fucking 9/11 and Austin traffic, and everybody just, like, sees all this bullshit. I hate it, dude.
You hate traffic, or you hate
I
that?
hate it that, like, you if you work at an office,
Oh, yeah.
you see somebody at 8 in the morning, they come in with their Red Bull. I'm just like, get the fuck out of here, man. You don't need that. You don't fucking need that. Like, you are dragging that much ass that you can't find something to be excited about to drive you today. You're fucking 21-year-old with your Red Bull. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That exciting. That to me is dark. And that's like unfortunately, that's my default. And I think it's like the infection of like my culture growing up, you know what I mean? But I could tell from the moment I met you that you had at least 75% of it was positive. And then the other stuff was like basic human level darkness, And
Yeah.
and I admired that about you. And that's why I wanted to be on your team.
Nice.
For real.
The reason that I wanted to be on your team was because you had sick-ass glasses.
Dude, I get that a lot. I get that a lot. I spent, it's the first time I've said this out there, but I've spent $500 on that.
Are you kidding me?
Fuck no. And I'll tell you why.
Dude, well, it's worth it.
I know. Yes, you're right. At a time where I didn't have that money at all, a couple years ago. But I want those to be my heirlooms.
Yeah.
I want my kids to fight at my funeral over who's going to get those glasses.
They better last that long
They will.
at that price.
They will. They're fucking sturdy as shit. And also, I'll refix them.
Good.
You know, like how that watch, you go into the watchmaker and they fix it. They put in a new thing in
Yeah.
it, a new cog in the wheel or whatever. I will go back and do like I won't fix my car. If it like flat tire, I'm like, my car's broken, I give up.
Yeah, just
But
leave
with
it
those
there.
glasses, I'm gonna go back and fix, whatever.
You'll tread in the mud for those things.
I will, man. And I want my kids to fight for those heirlooms.
Good.
But what a good first impression.
Yeah.
People like, and it's usually black people, like 99% of them are like, damn, like, dude, those glasses are like fresh or whatever. And I'm like, I know, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But,
No, but on a real.
no, you don't have to blow me. You don't have to blow me.
I will.
No, you don't have to blow me. No,
Anytime.
no, don't blow me. But,
Okay.
shit was real. And like, you added this is bad, but, you added so much legitimacy to that project.
Really?
I was like, this guy's not an idiot. He's not a stupid idiot. So if he's like, motherfucker, like if you're like, you were already deep. You had already made camp. You were so deep. You were building the website by yourself. I was like, well, obviously this shit's for real. Obviously. Because this guy's not a fucking idiot. And so, which is why when things didn't work out according to our standards, that's why I really felt like you had to have been blindsided by something that was not congruent.
I will never forget the day.
I'm sorry, man.
Never.
That was
in my
not a
life.
fun time.
I will, yeah.
That was
never.
not a fun time.
It was not fun. Oh my God. I felt for the first time in my life,
Yeah,
sick to my
I
stomach.
saw it.
Dude,
saw
oh
it.
God, that was horrible.
I felt really bad. It actually helped me knowing that like Oscar's, this is worse for him than it is for me. It helped me. I'm sorry, but that's a shame, man. But it just goes to show you. And I just remember telling you at the time, like, this worked out well because you're young. This happened. You got it out of the way. You like got hit, but you didn't fall down. I was like, you just got a chink in the armor. You're fine.
Yeah.
Like, this is best case scenario. It is actually.
You know what was the most upsetting? Everything, whatever, it happened. It happened. It's life. The most upsetting thing was I remember thinking to myself, I will never work with a team like this again. That was a bummer. There will never be, and you told me this before, another Knives Monroe. There will never be another Marichu.
Right.
It was just like shit. You meet some dope ass people, and then all of a sudden it goes to shit. It's like, oh, fuck.
But here we are.
But here we are.
And this wasn't a part of the plan.
Nah.
When I moved and you were, I don't know, I still don't remember like what that first conversation was. And I was just like, Oh, good for him. I feel like I knew first somehow that you had came here and that you had made it in some regard, and I was like, good for him. Like, he wasn't gonna. There was no job for him over there.
I've never made it.
So I made it.
I'm always working to make it, but there is never a goal. Well, there is a goal.
You don't have a goal,
but there will never be an end goal. It's always
there'll never be an end goal.
One step ahead, baby.
The end goal is really just a facade.
That's true.
To enjoy the fucking journey, no?
That is true. There was a quote by, who was it, Matthew McConaughey or something? It's like,
I love it.
What is he saying? Like, I'm working.
He's chasing like the version of him, the 10-year version of him that he'll never be.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fucking huge.
He'll never hit the 10-year version of himself that he wants to be.
Yeah.
But
I think he did, though.
Well,
I think he actually did.
Yeah, maybe.
But still, I mean, spiritually, I totally understand that. I totally understand that.
You know, my girlfriend always tells me, you can be so negative, pessimistic a lot. But it's never because I hate everything, even though it might seem that way. It's always because I always ask myself, how can this be better? And remember that quote, if you have a dream for 10 years, why can't you make it in 6 months? That's a good fucking quote, because it's true.
It is. It calls you out on your bullshit.
It calls you out on your bullshit.
You realize that a lot of... Here's what it meant to me. Oh, wow. That 10-year shit, for me, I spend a lot of time worrying or giving a fuck about things I shouldn't give a fuck. When it's like, when I cut that out, all of a sudden the road becomes clearer and I can get there quicker. That's huge. Man, the human brain, the way it's set up,
It is crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy. But that is huge. I don't know if we said this last time in our last conversation, but I feel like 50 grand to me a year is a sweet spot number.
Well, I mean,
if I get there, everything else is like, I don't need it. That's what I'm working towards. To work for some sort of agency or company, or to work B2B with some business where, I got my insurance, my kids are fine. I think 50 grand, I don't need more than that. I could get another car with that and be fine. You know what I mean?
Well,
I could afford to travel and not be like, I could afford to look at a menu and order whatever I want.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
I don't need fucking a watch. Not me. I don't. I'm not a watch guy.
Yeah,
I'm not a kicks guy. I'm not a fucking... I'm nothing. I don't put my stock in those kind of things.
Yeah.
I really don't.
People
think that, I want to make $1 million, brother. They think it's higher than what it really should be.
No. There's being the best person you can be, and then there's chasing them rats, where you're just like trying to catch the next, chunk of money.
Right.
You can rest assured that there are, and I always think about this, there's studies that say that your happiness, it caps like at 50K, like 60K.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've heard that too.
Yeah. So it's like, what you really need is just find your happiness.
Find your happiness. Yeah.
Some people are simple. Some people don't need like a ton of bullshit.
Right.
That's what a lot of things are, is bullshit.
I have not heard one other filmmaker out there in America that has said, all I need is 50,000 a year. I'm good. Mm-hmm. They want so much more. They want the awards. They want the blowjobs. They want all that stuff, the khakis, whatever it is for them.
The khakis, huh?
The khakis.
Yeah.
The chicks. I don't know. For me, I have everything. I have everything, man. I really do. I have everything, which helped me absorb the blow for that project not going according to plan, and reminding myself that I didn't even deserve it to go according to plan. Life doesn't owe me shit. The Valley didn't owe me shit. Mm-hmm. I was like, this didn't work. Of course, I just didn't want the song to end.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was like, I was looking for one more. And it sucks because that day, the day before that was like the ultimate high. And I remember telling Genesis, like, it's never going to be this good ever again. Like, absorb it all. Because I remember I did my shoot and I was like, okay, I'm going to leave. Or do you want to leave? And she was like, no, I'm going to stick around. And she was going to like have drinks or whatever. And I was like, okay, enjoy yourself. I know that I peaked and I'm going to go home now because I have a thing to film tomorrow morning. And I remember the drive home being like, it can't be this good. It just can't be.
Yeah.
To film for a fucking living, I was just too good to be true. And then it was, It's not a boo-hoo. It's just, it would have been a boo-hoo if and then Knives stopped.
Exactly.
Forever. And he was done. And he did that one thing and that was the end. It's not that. But, it's just another chapter.
No, of course. It's not, yeah, definitely not boo-hoo. It's not like, oh my God, this is the end. No, not at all. Not for me, not for you,
Yeah.
not for anybody. Not for anybody, really.
Yeah.
I mean, shit is what it is.
It's not a bad thing. I made this podcast talking about, and I worded it very provocatively so, and it's my most listened to podcast of like, it's called Why You Should Leave the Rio Grande Valley.
Okay.
And you can't boil the ocean. And I tried to over there.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to like, come on, brothers and sisters, like, let's get this film scene on the road. Nothing. Not just nothing, like, people took a shit in my mouth. And even, like, with Valley Native and even doing stuff on my side hustles and doing this and that, you know, I wish I was even revered as a Valley guy, and I'm not. I take that, I'm a little butthurt about that. I wish it was like, you know, when you did it, you know, somebody asked, what are some Valley podcasts? And you were like, Knives' podcast is like my go-to. I remember being like, thank you, Oscar. If you didn't say anything, nobody would have.
Oh.
Right? That's a fact. And it's not like, but that is important to me because that is a part of my tapestry. It just is. It's in my blood. You know, it is. You know, my mom always is like, well, come back to the Valley, son. And I'm like, it smells over there. It smells over there.
Well, it smells like the ocean.
You know, I make a lot of like, I don't like the word inspiration because it's so fucking fleeting and bullshit. You know, it's like an orgasm. Like, it's like, and then what? You know? But I make a lot of motivational, inspirational, like, content, right? And I have all this anti-Valley stuff that's supposed to be revered as inspirational, but it wouldn't be considered. Uh-huh. Like, one thing that I've been wanting to say that I'm like, I can't, because it's going to be considered, like, sad, is it was so easy to be a big fish in a small pond in the Valley. All you had to do was stand up. But
True.
that's all you have to do.
True.
You know? Another thing, I'm a light-skinned Hispanic. People just assume I'm not Hispanic. By and large, most people are like, he's white. Or he's a mudblood. He has a white dad. But no, both my parents were hardcore beaners, right? They just were. Like, both my grandpa's Eliasar, you know, and my other grandpa was Antonio. Like, it's just what it is. And I have this other thing that I wanted to say, which is like, if you really want to know what the Valley is and what it looks like and how it's perceived, you need to see it through the eyes of a minority. Minority being black or white or Asian or what have you. And then you see it for what it really is, and it is a borderland. It's not American. It's not America. It's not Mexico. It's a third world borderland country. It's basically its own country. Every time you leave the Valley, there's the checkpoint.
Yes.
Not any other place in Texas is there that.
Well, you know, whenever
it's like, no. If you can't leave, we're going to fucking catch the shit that you're leaving with.
Yeah.
Because we know what the Valley is.
Oh, yeah.
That's implied.
That's true. They always ask me, like, is this your car? It's like, yes, bitch, it's my car.
Right.
But anyway, no, like, whenever
I don't want to bury it, but I think I've conveyed enough for you to know what my perspective was on it. Uh-huh. You know, it just, even leaving it, 2017, it's still not what everybody wants it to be. It's not. Mm-hmm. And it sucks because I was a fucking champion. I championed the Valley there. I championed it. And I'm still not considered one of them. I'm a little upset about that. So what is your relationship like with the Valley? Did you ever feel like I have a community here? I walk among them and I am one of them?
You know, no, I've never, well, like, I'm not like, I'm one of these people. These are my kin, you know, like, no. But what I do think is it's just a place. Low cost of living. Mm-hmm. Everyone's the same. And whenever you have people that are the same, it's comfortable. I don't care what you think about beautiful racial, you know, acceptance. It's like whenever everyone's a fucking, you know, Hispanic, one thing. Whenever everyone's one thing, you're comfortable. You can get your little job that doesn't really pay that well, and you can live comfortably. You can start a family. You're near all your family because all of your extended family because you know we tend to stick together. Mm-hmm. I really try not to shit on it because it's so easy. But what it is it's just there is a sense of community. I can go 60 miles north from Brownsville, end up in McAllen, and I'll still feel like I'm at home. It's just a big ass community, and everyone's I mean, people struggle, but I mean, maybe I'm speaking for myself, but people are happy.
Mm-hmm.
They're just comfortable. There's nothing wrong with being comfortable. It's just that for people that are ambitious, comfort is not what they're looking for. And if you're really ambitious, in your heart that comfort is where you can't be.
There's a quote in an author who lives in the valley named Juan Ochoa. He wrote a book called Marihuano. And there's a quote that's like in the first 3 pages of the book that says, the worst thing a Mexican can do to another Mexican is be successful. That shittiness that I have encountered, and I don't even think, if you were to write down my stats on paper, you wouldn't consider this guy successful, right? But I always felt, this goes back to like being it until you are it. I always felt like, not in a smug, pretentious way of like, I'm better than you. Not like that. But I felt like I'm going to be the best that I can be. I'm gonna. Watch me. I'm doing it. That, right? Just like in the motion of action. And that rubs people the wrong way. This goes back to, I'm sure you've heard this example. And I don't mean to shit on it, but I kind of just, I like to hear your perspective.
Sure.
Because most people I talk to that are from the valley that split are just like, they look at it like as a redheaded stepchild as well. But I like your perspective. It's more diplomatic and pragmatic in a way, and I appreciate that. But have you heard of that expression of like the crabs, the Mexican crabs, the black crabs, the white crabs?
Can't say I have.
Okay, so there's white crabs, and they put them all in a pot, and they're boiling them, and they have to put a lid on the pot because the white crabs like help each other get out. And there's the same thing with the black crabs. They're boiling them, but they have to put a lid on the top because one tries to get out, they all try to get out. With the Mexican crabs, you don't have to put a lid because when one tries to get out, they bring them all back in.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
A guy that fucked me over and stabbed me in the back told me this, who was white.
Oh, God.
And it's too deep there. It's too much, but this is the realness. I have felt that. Not projecting it, I have seen it. Whereas you think you're better than us. You want to go to college boy. You don't like menudo? Who the fuck do you think you are? Even though I love menudo. But, like, I had that growing up. I remember first grade. It was like kinder, first or second grade. Somebody came up to me and they're like, Selena died. And I was like, who's Selena? This kid punched me in the stomach. And was like, how do you not know? And I did know, I just didn't know that the bitty bitty bum bum chick was Selena. Right? And they're like, Selena died. And I was like, who's Selena? Like, does this girl go to our school? Like, I was like, who's Selena? Punching me in the stomach, like, idiot. And I remember just being like, this is so unfair.
Yeah.
This is unfair. And I'm not saying anybody's going to be like, Knives, life's not fair. I know I'm not a fucking idiot. I've learned it the hard way. And I learned that the only way to learn things are the hard way oftentimes. But, even me promoting a movie as like an RGV film, people are like, what the fuck? And I'm like, even when I'm playing this game, playing to you guys, you're like, no? What the fuck? Being this color, somebody once said this, I'm going to rip her off, I'm too coffee for milk, I'm not milk enough to be coffee. Right?
That's cool.
Like that shit. And I remember on Reddit, big fucking mistake. Like going into a sub like RGV Reddit.
Oh, yeah.
And being like, I left the valley, it was fucking hard for me. Second grade, was like dog shit, like people shitting in my mouth, like being a light-skinned Hispanic, whatever. That thing was the highest, and I had to delete my account. That thing was the highest, like, talked about, whatever the fuck the score metric system is over there for Reddit.
Yeah.
Like, RGV post ever, like, in 1 week. It was, like, the biggest RGV, and people just shat on me. Men, women of all ages were just like, you pussy, you were fucking weak. Like, how could you bitch about that? And I was just like, fuck. It ruined Reddit for me. I was like, damn. And I don't mean to go on a soapbox, but I wanted to fit in. I didn't want to be an outlier. I wanted to find my people. I never passed Spanish. I graduated high school with a 69.5 GPA, and I passed French 1 and 2 as my language elective bullshit whatevers. I never passed Spanish. And I remember Spanish 1, my Spanish teacher spoke nothing but Spanish. And I was like, ma'am, like, how am I going to learn if you just speak Spanish? And she was like, you understand Spanish. Like, your last name is such and such. You understand Spanish. And I was like, I was like, Miss, if you went to Japan and they only spoke Japanese, how the fuck are you going to learn? And she was like, go to detention or whatever. And I literally spent like, a week away from everybody. And I was just like, explain this to me. That's not how you learn. Let me just sign language you until you get it. Like, tell me what this shit means. Decode this shit for me. And that kind of culture, And then some people in that Reddit post were like, well, you went to Donna High School. Like, what the fuck did you expect? And I'm like, fuck, man. Donna. That's another thing. Donna. I remember the first girlfriend I ever had, I met her at a Hot Topic in McAllen.
That's romantic. I like it.
It defined the rest of our relationship.
Okay.
And I remember she was from McAllen, and she was like, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from Donna. She's like, oh, so you're out of town? Like, what are you doing here? Like, are you staying at a hotel? And I was like, Donna's 10 miles away from McAllen. Like, she didn't fucking know. I was an alien, man. You know what I mean? And it's like, I gave a lot to my community. I gave a lot, blood, sweat, and tears, and like set up even a model that like filmmakers can do, like show a film here or whatever it is for them. Mm-hmm. Gave a lot. Not perfect, but it's so strange that still looked at as an outlier and all that. So that had a lot to do with me being like, I can't be here anymore. I'm putting all this energy, being Knives Monroe, trying to be the best that I can be, and it's like I'm gonna go put this energy in Austin and see if I can get more upside, and I do, and I have, and I did, and I am. Why, man? Why? I'm not trying to shit on it, but it's like I want you guys to love me, and you're saying get the fuck out of here, pussy, and I'm like, that's wrong.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's just the whole thing of being different and not really fitting in where everybody is the same. I mean, there's going to be
So
haters.
blood doesn't matter. That's the lesson of that story, is blood doesn't matter.
No.
Language is more important than anything, I feel.
Whenever you say language, you mean...
Have you been here in Austin long enough where like you've gone a while without seeing a hardcore Mexican, and then when you see a Mexican, you're like, hey!
Yes. Yes.
So
there's an unspoken language.
There's an unspoken language, but also you could even go straight to Spanish. Okay, I'll give you an example. When I first moved here, poor, didn't have any money, any of that. And so I would collect gallons, empty gallon jugs, and I would go to work, and I would go to the water fountain, and I'd fill up my gallon jugs, and that's how I had water. And I remember the custodians that worked there were Mexican, and they would talk shit behind my back and be like, this fucking guy coming in here and like, what the fuck? Like, he's poor, but like he's bringing the water, like this is ghetto. And I remember turning to them and in Spanish being like, my kids got to drink clean water. Like, I have to do what I have to do. Like, do you have kids? And like in Spanish, and they were just like, like they completely 180 just changed. But guess what? 2 milk for coffee, right?
Yes.
Spoke their language, and then they were like, they wanted to be besties.
Yeah. I mean,
that shit.
One time I was parking in downtown, and one of the guys that was coordinating the whole parking situation was like, he called me mijo. And, I looked at him in the eyes, and I said, we are of kin. Blood of my blood. I see you.
I see you. That's a happy ending.
That is happy.
Yeah, man.
He was nice.
I wish I had it. I do.
Well, going back to what you said, I think it's just a matter of the fact that, outliers find comfort in outliers. And some people, and it's also a matter of opportunity. You realize, and a lot of people, people that want to leave the valley. There's two kinds of people that want to leave the valley, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There are the ultra hipsters, whose glasses are too round for the valley. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like 12 people came to mind.
Whose hair is too green.
Sure.
You know what I mean, for the valley? There's those people. Mm-hmm. Move to Austin. Move to these really cool cities if you feel like you're going to find other people, because you will.
Sure.
Go do that. But there's also people who say, I see something for myself.
Right.
And it's not attainable here. Right. So I need to move elsewhere.
Yeah.
If you're of the latter,
I am.
Then there is nothing wrong. Because, like I said, there is no water that can be, tread if you're at bay.
Mm.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to do it. Sometimes you just got to do it. You got
Yeah.
to see what else is out there, because the world is not down there. It's, it's like whenever Gandalf was talking to Bilbo or some shit, he was like, the world's not in your books. It's out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
It is the same thing.
If we want to talk about socioeconomic opportunity, then that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
That's another reason to leave. But
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to find your peeps.
Yeah.
You got to find your bros.
Still trying to find my peeps.
Just where the action is. That's why a lot of people move to California. They're like, bruh, California, music, that's where I got to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever works for you.
Right.
You're either going to be a big fish in a small pond,
Mm-hmm.
or a medium-sized, tuna situation in the, Atlantic? I don't know where they are.
Sure. No one's going to know.
I don't know. It's just a matter of finding your voice, really. Putting yourself in the best situation. Like I said, it's a game of numbers. Life is a game. You got to play it.
Yep.
There's so many people that are just like, this is unfair. His dice have a higher probability of rolling above 50.
Sure.
It's like, no, life is a game.
Yeah.
You either play it or you don't. If you don't want to play it, that's fine, but other people will.
The Valley, it's occurring to me right now, and I've put my hands together and I've bowed and I've said thank you, and I walked away from the Valley. I said thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say fuck you. I said thank you. I'm always going to be 51% thank you when it comes to the Valley.
Nice.
Because as loud and as intense and as blah, 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 whatever adjectives you want to use for Knives Monroe, which are probably valid and obtuse and hyperbolic and valid, at the same time, it is balanced with this humility, because I've been shat in the mouth in the Rio Grande Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas no matter how good I was, people were quick to be like, sit down, fucker. Sit down, be humble. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful for that, and I still carry that with me here. Of like, I'm not shit. I'm not shit. As great as I feel and am and all that stuff, I'm still not shit. And I'm glad that I have that, That's an important part of this game as well, that humility. And I got that from a place that I desperately wanted that acceptance. But I have also felt that, like, for instance, a part of me could be like, I'm better than you fuckers. Remember how I told you about that Passion of Christ when Jesus was like, oh, no, like, they don't know, like that whole thing. And I love that.
Uh-huh.
That was me with the Valley. And it doesn't make me altruistic or anything, but I still love the Valley first and those people in it. And even though it never me.
Yeah, I mean, I hate...
And I think that makes you better, not weaker.
I just don't like to be the person that's like, yo, fuck this place. Because I don't hate it. I like it. It's cool. It's a cool place.
I think my phone. I'll keep going, please. But I think it reached maximum capacity.
Oh, that's
here.
fine.
Yeah, which means we did it right. So this light is not really relevant anymore. But thank you.
Oh, right.
We still have some time, man. This is good. I said it, and when I said it, I meant it. That I wanted you to be on the podcast. A part of me was like, I consider you an artist. What you do is, it's quant and it's math based and everything, but I consider what you do art, because you turn numbers into art. I don't know how you do that. You know what I mean? When I saw your website for the first time, I was like, I'll never be able to know how to do that ever. And a part of me was just like, why didn't they Squarespace it? That would be easier, no? But I remember you took so much pride in like, no, this shit has to be unique. When people see it, they have to know, or whatever. And I remember just thinking like, that pride for authenticity or even authorship, I was like, that's the pride that I take for films, that people take for granted. So I was like, one of these days as an artist, I want to get that side of the equation. So I think we should wrap up here. But you found your place. You know what you're doing. You reluctantly fell into your craft, your work. You're going to make vast sums of money out of it. All that stuff. You won. You won. Because moving forward, even though they're going to teach coding in class and it's going to become like you make 30 grand a year, the most out of it in 10 years, right now it's the thing, and that's good. And it'll take you to the next thing and whatever. What is the next thing? What is 2027 to you?
Oh, shit. By that time, I know that I want to have my own company. I know it. It's in my blood. Just have
Are
that.
you going to be the CEO of this company?
I will be the founder, yeah.
Are you going to monetize and make money out of this company?
Well, I mean, if you want to treat your employees right, then you have to.
Okay. So how many employees? I mean, what do you see there?
You know, do I have a specific category on what I want my business to be? No, because it could just be, you know, I could write some sort of, you know, it's called SaaS, like software as a service. I could write something like that, or I could completely just save money and start something, you know, completely out of the tech space. It doesn't really, you know, there's nothing set in stone. I just know that in my blood, I don't see myself never have working for some big company. I do not want to be a cog
that's
in the
one
machine.
thing you told me.
Remember
Time.
whenever we first, or whenever we were, you know, whenever we knew each other at the beginning, I had worked somewhere like that, and I was like, holy shit, this is horrible. This is fucking horrible. I don't want to work where it's comfortable and safe. I want to be like fucking every day, like, oh my God, what are we doing? I want to be, you know, on fire every single day. And you know, I always gravitate towards small companies that are brand new, but I know that I have no business being on the sidelines or, you know, behind somebody. I need to be in front. I need to be guiding people. You know, the boss that I have right now, super awesome guy. And one day he had me meet up with him at Magnolia Cafe here in Austin. And he told me, like, he was like, look, you are going to do something in the future. I want to be your mentor. Like, my boss sat me down and told me this. Is like, I want to be a mentor to you. So I think that you need to start meeting up with other professionals here in Austin. You need to consider getting an MBA. Like, he was like sitting me down. He was like, look, bitch, I know you're not going to be working for me forever. So go maximize your potential. And I was like, holy shit, like, I need to, it's just who I am. Like I said, it's just in my blood. Some people have entrepreneurial spirit. I feel it. It's there, and it's going to awaken one day. And you're telling me 2027, like, in 10 years, fuck yeah, I will. I will be. Right now, I'm just at this stage where I don't have capital. I'm learning a lot, you know. I'm fresh in the whole world of being basically an adult. But, yeah, I mean, shit. I would be so surprised if I was still working for somebody in 10 years. And that's not me being like, I'm a fucking badass. I know so much about business. It's not that. It's just that it's like, it's just who I am. Like, I need to be in the lead of something, or else I won't feel like I'm maximizing my potential. And I believe that I have a lot to give to other people through that. You know, I can be that mentor that my boss wants to be for me, for somebody else. But I mean, that's just what I think about all day.
Really?
What am I gonna do? Where am I? Am I thinking about the next big thing? Whatever. You know, I don't know. It's just, that's what I want. What do you want, Knives?
I want a 16-year-old girl to see me on YouTube or whatever medium and be like, Knives Monroe is my motherfucking dad.
Honestly, and I'll tell you this. I told you this the other day, last week. You will. You will.
Yeah.
Because the world needs people who are out there, like, throwing shit in the air like a fucking gorilla, just flinging their shit all around. That's not you. It's kind of you. In a good way. In a beautiful way.
For sure. Yeah.
It's art.
Oh, man. The Capitol and all that stuff. I'm not really... I don't feel like in a position... Like, normally I can give people advice that I kind of feel are on the other end of the timeline. But I kind of feel like we're on the same part of the timeline. In terms of passion and knowledge, almost wisdom, even appreciation for wisdom, and but at the same time, like, the big brother, like, dad in me is like, we're gonna hit a bear market and the economy's gonna crash in the next It could be this year. It's definitely going to be, I feel, in Trump's first administration. And it's going to be hard in your ecosystem to get that. So in that hurricane and in that downtime is the time to invest and work the hardest, to build. That's the time to build, not to hibernate and to retreat. It's the time to build. And I think that maximize on that, and that you can ride that to growth as well, as opposed to retreating, which will be the instinctual thing, but you have to go against it. I know that's coming for you. For me, it doesn't affect me. I don't think it affects me film-wise, because people still consume during those times. Shit's been really comfortable for us. In your ecosystem, which I only know the cool shit, but programmers and fucking data guys and quant guys and builders and coders and that code life shit, it's real sexy right now. It's real sexy. Just like how, as a filmmaker, people are like, they want to film the hip-hop videos and they want the pussy and all that shit, and I get it. Cool, do that. Do it for as long as you can. If those people that want to do that, filmmakers, they think it's like, set life and all that. You know, I roll my eyes because I'm like, I'm going to do this forever. Sometimes it's not pretty. These guys are praying. Respect. They're praying for their food or whatever. It's pretty deep. They're praying.
I don't want to look.
No, you don't have to. No one's looking, but that's pretty deep. Good vibes. It looks deep. It looks intense over there. Wow.
Good for them.
At any rate, but there's a lot of phonies in that community that are going to die in the next economic collapse, because post-social network, which is like where we praise the Zuckerbergs and all that stuff, we praise them, now they're the new rock stars, deservingly so. They're going to get super kicked in the teeth with this next one, and you're going to see all the D players, C players, and B players disappear for a few years, scattered like cockroaches. And if you're the A player like I think you are, that's the time where you will win. You'll win. Don't retreat or whatever. You know what I mean? That's my only advice, and I said it last time, and it's worth publishing. You know, because if I had your skill, I'd be the best. I'd be the best with it. That's a beautiful trade to have.
Why, thank you, Knives. I really do hope that. Well, I mean, I know I will, but it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Something's gonna happen. Something will, and I will be very proud of it. I will, no matter how small it is. I'll eat fucking macaroni and cheese. I don't give a shit. It's worth it.
Fuck yeah. That's what it's all about, man. And I think there's a lot of people that we grew up with that dreamed of that level of ambition, but it doesn't pump through their veins. And so I think you're here because it does, right? And wherever the fuck you're going to go, 2027, I think about it. I think about 2027. You know, when Trump got elected, as opposed to crying about it, I thought, okay, it's going to be 2020, guys. Don't worry. It's going to be 2020. And then what? Then what's going to be the thing that's the reason why you failed? Yeah. No, spend these next 4 years and kill it, crush it. You know what I mean? And I want to see you do that too, man. You're so fucking young.
If we're talking about 10-year goals,
sure.
Why can't we do it in 6 months?
I think that's the best way to wrap this up, man. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take that really literally. I want everything that I want by the end of this year. I'm going to work towards that. And let's see. Mm-hmm. A lot can happen in 1 week of fucking hardcore work.
A lot can, yeah.
Yeah, man.
For
and
sure.
You inspire me, man.
You inspire me, Knives.
Don't lose that fire, please. That, how can this be better? Fire.
Yeah.
I love you, man.
I love you too, Knives.